State of Oregon has had legalized marijuana for the past 7 years. And what you may not have known to this point is Malheur County, with just 32,000 people in it, is Oregon's per capita sales leader for cannabis. Malheur County, and it's not even close. The Portland Business Journal says last year sales there topped $111 million. I mean, I know it's been a hit, but come on, just how much weed are these people? Obviously, these buys aren't just coming from those residents. That's obvious. But the obvious conclusion, they're coming from the east, from Idaho. At least that's what we keep hearing from the city and county officials. They say all the Idahoans making the short trip across the border to Ontario to pick up their ganj makes up about 90% of their buyers, which has certainly added to their county and city coffers with a 3% sales tax tacked on. Well, now there's a new bill introduced by a senator from, you guessed it, Ontario, that would mean even more money for the county. He wants to take that tax from 3% to 10%. So Katya, marijuana obviously not legal in the state of Idaho. This is an increased opportunity, right? Or is there another reason for this increase in tax?
Well, Brian, they say the amount of Idahoans traveling into Ontario is creating, quote, intense daily traffic that's impacting their roads, infrastructure, public safety, and even emergency health care services. So this bill, known as Senate Bill 1506, would help them meet these challenges. Out of the 8 people who gave public testimony, only 1 was against the bill.
Oregon is by far the least taxed state on marijuana on the West Coast. Even if you support this bill, which I think is needed, and you'll hear why, Oregon will still be the least taxed state on the West Coast. We are not going to promote more illegal sales. We're not going to promote more black market. We need to look at how communities can support themselves.
If this bill is approved, it would help Ontario to cover its cost from the influx of traffic stemming from the high volume of marijuana sales to Idahoans.
I've been in business since 2014, and it's been a constant barrage of trying to take more and more of our market share, and having a 333% sales tax increase for the cities is completely un-Oregonian.
These taxes will be passed on to the purchasers, and they won't purchase less because of it. And that's just what the elasticity studies show across multiple states throughout the U.S. With taxation changes to the marijuana industry. It doesn't have an impact on the demand for the product.
About that. According to the city, Malheur County has 9 cannabis stores and even more coming. The stores bring in around 2,700 visitors each and every day into Ontario. Marijuana retailers are grossing about $106 million a year. Now, the city goes on to say they believe that, quote, average retail transaction of $112 will not be impacted by an increase of around $7 for customers coming in from Idaho to make these purchases. But again, local voters will have to sign off on the higher tax. Brian?
Okay, the only question I do have, I know we've heard this before, we've thrown it out there, this 90% number of Idahoans, that's where their market is from. How do we know this?
It is a lofty number, and you kind of think, well, are we all coming there at once? What's going on here? And there actually haven't been any real studies done because marijuana shops don't track what owners buy and where they're coming from and how many are buying these products. So the argument is, Adam Brown told me, if you sit in a parking lot and look at all these license plates, that 90% of them are from Idaho. And he also says Ontario just doesn't have the kind of purchasing power that it's got to all be from them. So it's kind of a guesstimation, if you will.
True, there's only about 11,000 people in town, not all of them, but I get that. But man, I'd love to see some numbers, like actual data on that, just to say, instead of just throwing out that 90%, but we'll go with it, I guess, for now. Thanks, Katya.